computer. All right, here we go. Yeah, let me get myself set here. I had to run into the other room briefly before the show started because I had to put on my makeup. 'Cause I got a rosacea here and I've got to put makeup on so I don't look ugly. Oh, a lot of people. Wow. Gee, this is a ton of people. Watch this, folks. Watch as I bring them in. This is our Monday show. This is the nice show. This is the one where nobody complains about anything except me, maybe occasionally. So admit all. Here we go. Watch who's coming in here. We got Charlie Wallace. We got Marjorie. We got Charlene Solis. We got Jeffrey Stein, Vernon Nunn, John Ewing, Francine Witt, Deutsch, Andrew Deutsch, Vernon Nunn. Let's see. I mentioned John Ewing, Len LaFrisco. And Marjorie may be here any second now. There she is. Mm-hmm. Mm.
There's a meter reader at the door.
Meter reader.
A meter reader. I told him to come back next month.
What meter reader? We don't have a meter reader
Yes,
anymore.
we do. In the kitchen, we have an electric thing.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I think that's read downstairs, believe it or not.
Well, whatever.
Anyway, so you didn't let him in?
No, I said I'm busy right now.
Oh, and they said they'll come back next week?
Come back next month.
Next month. Oh,
Well,
okay.
I thought they'd do it once a month. Anyway,
I think it's for just for gas, if I'm not mistaken.
whatever.
Electricity is downstairs now. Anyway, so here we are. Oh, here comes Paula too. Wow, we got a really full house here. We don't even have some of our regulars checking in either. So, we could get a ton of people here. We got what? How many is this? It's 4 and 12. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good thing we got a physicist here to do the math.
Yeah, did you are you increasing the cost of admission by 25% under the new Bennett tariffs?
That's been postponed, I think.
Yeah,
not with Canada.
I made a deal and I kowtowed to Trump like everybody else.
That's why Mike Chisholm isn't here today. He can't afford it.
Yeah, the one that really pissed me off. We don't normally talk politics, but this isn't really politics. This is just a company becoming coward. CBS was being sued for $10 billion for their interview with who's running for president for the Democrats?
Kamala Harris.
I forgot her. Anyway,
Kamala
Harris. They did an interview with her. They offered him equal time, by the way. He never did it, but he sued for $10 million, saying they were there was some, I don't know, he was hurt by it.
They were editing with bias.
They were editing with bias. So he sued for $10 billion, which is still there, which is, he can't sue. What are the damages? He didn't lose the election, right? So obviously, if they were trying to help him lose the election, they weren't very good at it. So now the FCC asked the CBS for a copy of the interview, which they can get. I can get it myself right now if I want it on YouTube. But they also want all the outtakes, all the they didn't use, the raw footage. And they turned them all over to the FCC today. And people at CBS who work there are just livid. They say, hey, this is a news broadcast. They have to work harder for that. They can't just say we need to see it because blah, blah, blah. And so my eyes are tearing.
I wish Chisholm was on to tell you direct from Canada all the crazy, great things Canada's doing to combat it. They've removed all Kentucky spirits from the shelves in Canada. They're advising people if you go to a store and it says "Made in America," don't buy it. Buy from somewhere else.
Wow. Well, also they are not shipping any of their liquor to any red states. I think it's something like that. Yeah.
What? Yeah. No Canadian Club?
Probably not.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's a what is it? A poo-poo show. Okay. I'll
Yeah.
pretend like I'm on Shark Tank. It's a poo-poo show.
By the way, the price of gas went up 40 cents a gallon over the weekend.
Did it
If
really?
it was postponed, the gas companies don't know about it.
Oh boy. Well,
But that's normal.
Yeah, the
You
price
know.
of eggs and milk went up at my place.
well, eggs are going up because they're there was
Bird flu.
Bird flu.
bird.
Yeah.
If I went to Costco the other day and I looked for eggs, okay, just for the hell of it, just for grins, they don't have any.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
you go to Costco, you can find them on crates this high, right?
Yeah.
They don't have
Can you
any?
hear it or not?
Huh?
I went to BJ's and got eggs over the weekend, but they were more
Should
expensive.
be no.
How much were
I
they?
can hear
But
Good.
I buy this pack that has 3 dozen in it, and I think it was like $15.
Really?
Yeah,
it.
but it's more. I mean, it was like 9 a few weeks back.
Yeah. We see, I understand the price going up on eggs and them not being available because, you kill the chickens, you kill the eggs.
Eggs.
Yeah. Well, this is the only thing that's going to affect Trump because KFC prices are going to go up.
Yeah.
I haven't been down to Popeyes. I wonder what the chicken price. I bet they don't. Are they probably don't have any chicken? I mean,
Yeah.
what? There's no chicken available.
Remember when family meals used to be $15, $20? I went into Popeyes a month or two ago. A family meal is $60.
What?
One meal.
$60.
We get the 8-piece, and it's up around 35 now.
No, about
Yeah.
29.30.
Yeah, well, it's a little higher than that. I seem to remember.
Could be.
Well, let me say hello to Paula, and I also forgot to say hello to Edward Berger.
That's right.
Okay, good. No, it's but that has nothing. The chicken thing has nothing to do with Trump. But it all has to do with Biden. If he didn't have DEI, chickens would be alive right now.
Oh my God.
Well,
Here we go.
if Trump had appointed an FAA commissioner, they wouldn't have had a plane crash.
That's
Yeah.
correct. Correct.
Well, isn't DEI Don Jr., Eric, and Ivanka?
Yeah.
DEI?
Yeah.
Oh boy, you've been waiting all week for that one, haven't you?
No, about 5 minutes. About 5 minutes. What did I can't remember what I put. It was something deplorably egotistical ignoramus.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, but it was well, I mean, the plane crash was terrible, and you get on the air and you say to the American public, "Don't worry, the aviation system is working just fine. This is a freak accident. We're sorry for the people who died. I'll see you later." Okay, but no.
He was blaming dwarfs.
Yeah.
He wasn't he, at some
He
point?
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black people? Did he say black people? Or
They
did
put
he
it-
say
They put a tariff on copies of The Wizard of Oz. Snow White too.
Yeah, oh boy.
I talked to my buddy in Toronto last night, and he's just like, "What the actual F is going on in the United States?" He's he can't believe.
No, what's going on is absolute craziness.
Yeah.
And what more can I say? That's it.
And it's getting worse.
Yeah.
Did any of you see the movie Michael Moore made years ago, the one that wasn't a documentary, Operation Canadian Bacon?
Yeah.
This is it. I mean, this is the president making up false allegations of Canada to start a trade war.
Well, he wants them to be a 51st state.
Well, that's the condition. The
And
only
they're
way
just
that he'll
dying.
take away.
They're just dying to be part of the United States.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know,
They want-
I got to say something about Canadians. And yes, he's not here today. I wish he were. They're really proud about their country.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, and it's not false pride. It's not like make Canada great again, or Canada. None of that crap. They just are very proud of their country, and they don't like the insistence of someone else trying to change them. And they don't want to be part of the United States. Would you want to be part of I don't want to be part of the United States, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Isn't it
Just like the
interesting?
maggots, the maggots are saying that Greenland wants to be part of the United States too.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, right.
But it's interesting because when you think about it, the idea behind all of this is that we can't have trading partners. If you've got something we want to own it from the same people who think their wives are property.
Well, what country owns Greenland?
None.
They are self-determinant, but technically Denmark, it's part of Denmark.
Well, they want to get rid of Denmark. They just feel it's just too much of a burden for them. They just like to be totally independent.
That isn't accurate. They like their relationship with Denmark, and they're glad that Denmark doesn't mandate how they rule their country. But they have benefits from being part of the Danish.
All right. Well, then I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
It's one of those crazy countries. It's one of those crazy countries I've done business with.
Really?
They have fishing fleets that we were selling the strapping equipment to back, I don't know, 20 years ago.
If he puts a tariff on Denmark, what about Ozempic? It's probably going to go sky high.
Yeah.
Actually, Ozempic is the main product of Denmark. They make so much money for Denmark that
Really?
yes. Oh yeah, they got Ozempic. They're Nordisk. What's the name of that company? Novo Nordisk. Yeah, and I saw on 60 Minutes or something. There's something like 80% of the income of Denmark now.
Gross national product. Yeah.
In terms of all their products, not just Ozempic.
Yeah.
Wow.
I read a thing today about Ozempic-like drugs, any of the weight loss drugs, causing divorce.
From which part, the male or female?
I think in this one case they were referring to, it was the woman who lost the weight and then wanted to, and then what happened was her husband started to say, I really liked her fat. I kind of liked cuddling up to her because it was like being on a soft pillow, and he said nice things about her girth, as it were, and that he missed that, and that was causing a strain on their sex life. So she lost 60 pounds, I might add.
Well,
all right.
Ozempic is the Danish. If you look at the translation, it's the Danish word for a side piece.
But I mean, this was in the New York Times today. I mean, and it's an interesting thing that's happening. And they say that there are problems all over the country with people suddenly losing weight, and for one reason or another, wanting to leave their husbands. I guess
other sexes kept hitting on them.
What?
They didn't hit on them before, and now they're hitting on them.
Yeah. But of course, once they take their clothes off, all this flab goes to the ground. But I mean, I lost a lot of weight way back, and Marjorie wanted to divorce me. I don't understand why. So I gained back fat, and now here she is. She's still here with me.
Still here.
Maybe another marketing. Get Ozempic. Increase your options. Life has better options.
I got a question. Maybe somebody here can answer it about Ozempic. All right.
Mhm.
So you're shooting yourself up with Ozempic, right?
Yeah.
What, once a day, something like that? I don't know.
It's once a week.
Charlene?
Yeah, my husband's taking it, and it's once a week. However, it does curb your appetite, but you have to not eat junk to lose weight. So my husband's on it, but he's not losing any weight.
Because he hasn't lost any weight?
Not really, no, because he's not adjusting what he eats. So in order to lose weight on that, you have to change your whole attitude and what you eat and what you do and your exercise. If you don't, it doesn't do anything.
Wait a minute. If they say change your eating habits and exercise and use the Ozempic, won't they lose weight if they just exercise and eat better?
You need Ozempic.
Yeah.
I think though it curbs your appetite.
Yeah, it makes it easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
But-
So does it
but-
curb his appetite?
Yeah, but it's in his brain. You know what I need a cookie. I need the ice cream. I need this. I need that. And he's not hungry for it, but he still eats it because it's mental. So it's really not. If you have to be determined, really want to lose weight for it to work.
Yeah.
But it does have an effect on the metabolism because people who take Ozempic and have to have surgery a lot of times have to have their stomachs pumped because the food takes longer to digest.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I've heard about this from RNs that I know in my family.
So he's been taking it and he hasn't lost it at all.
Not really. Maybe 5 pounds, whatever, 5, 10 pounds. And he probably could stand to lose 60 at least 60, if not more.
Yeah, one of these drugs, you can lose about 60. You know, that's not out of the question. You know, but it's also a question of why you have your weight. As you say, he didn't give up those foods, which kind of seems ridiculous to me because this if you're going to take this injection, it should curb your appetite, period. You should look at a cookie and say, I don't want that, you know?
As I said, it's mind over matter.
Kind of a hard.
No, I mean, I lost a lot of weight and I exercised. I watched what I cut down carbs and fat and added protein and I lost almost 150 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, me too.
So I've gained some back, but not a lot. But still, you know, if you really, you had to put it in I had to put it in my mind. At first, it was hard.
I lost about 60 pounds, and that was from just going on a low carbohydrate diet.
Yeah.
Know? And I did that for what, a year, Marjorie, something like that.
Something like that.
But I lost 60 pounds. You know, then I got the prostate problem and they had to operate on that. And then I had to, what do I take the pregabalin for? I'm trying to remember now.
Neuropathy.
I got neuropathy. So I had to take pregabalin. And those things help make you gain weight a bit. And so I'm now up to 213 pounds. In fact, I went to the doctor and usually I turn the other way from the scale so I don't have to see the weight because I don't want to see what I gain. And I figured maybe I'd go on up to like 230, something like that. And I left the office and they gave me some papers and one of them was the examination and it had the weight on it. And I saw it. And it was 213. It wasn't 230. You know, so I felt really good, you know, but so I haven't gained all that back. I was up to about 255, something like that, 260.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You don't look like 213 at all, really.
No.
Really?
He
No.
was.
You want me to take my shirt off and show you my belly?
No.
No, thank you. No, I just had lunch.
Well, that's another.
We were talking about the flabby arms. I could show you mine.
There you go.
You lose a lot of weight.
Wow.
You lost a lot of weight. Yeah. 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 Well, I trimmed down. I almost looked sick. You know, I had friends who were starting to worry I had some kind of cancer, and it turns out I have 2 types of cancer. But
True.
And when I lost all my weight, people kept asking me if I was sick.
yeah,
They'd never seen me, you know, below 200. I was 360 something pounds.
Last week. Oh, here comes Mike Chisholm. Oh, good. We can answer that. Here comes Mike Chisholm. Mike, oh God.
Well, hold on. If Mike's coming on, it's 25% above on the admission.
We have to charge you a 25% tariff.
I've heard something about that.
Yeah. You know something? Well, we were talking about it earlier. Let me finish this discussion on weight, and then we'll, you know. I was very happy actually that I hadn't gained that much. You know, I'd been as low as about 180. I think I went down to, and I was glad that I had gained a little weight because people were saying, "Gee, you're starting to look sick." You know, I said, "I'm just losing weight." You know. And finally, I just looked at myself in the mirror and I said, I think this is fine. And then, of course, I had all those medical things and so on. And so now I'm back up to about 213. But that's okay. That's okay by me, you know. Anyway, hello, Mike.
Hi, everybody.
25% Mike.
Yep. That's what they're saying.
Is this considered an import, taking a call from him?
It's an export.
Curious as to what, if lines are being drawn, I can remember times where, like even going across the line and coming back, they'd make you feel like you just had a body cavity search or whatever. And I'm sure sometimes that actually happened. Like, man, I really, really enjoyed the free trade life that our countries have. The vast majority of my life, I've enjoyed free trade and the benefits of it. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens as a result of this stuff.
How are people up there reacting to it? I know that some places, there's one place that won't send liquor or won't use liquor made in the United States.
No, red states.
Red states. Well, we just lost him.
Oh, I saw him pushing something on his screen.
Yeah, well, it wasn't the right thing to push.
Uh-oh. Wrong button.
He'll be back.
Yeah, that's what happens when you don't pay your tariffs.
Yeah, that's what happens when we don't pay our tariffs. Here he comes.
I don't think we're allowed to talk to Canadians more than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It starts a timer now.
See what happened? You didn't put a coin in the slot for the 25%.
It feels like somebody doesn't want me to say this stuff.
Well, he came on 15 minutes in, so 25% of his time was paid,
Right.
so we should be good.
So liquor in the province that I'm in is not privatized. It's a public thing. So we have BC government liquor stores here, and they have made the move that they're not bringing anything from the US up here.
Wow.
So there's things like that are happening, and that seems pretty extreme. And hopefully it's extreme with people who are there's a lot of
you pay your tariffs.
that are happening, and that seems pretty extreme. And hopefully it is extreme with people who are there's a lot of,
you pay your tariffs.
Am I traveling through time right now?
I started looking at the feed from Facebook, and I had my audio up on that channel. So
all right, good.
Now I took care of it.
I'm grateful to hear that I'm still in this dimension.
We're not in the Matrix yet.
Yeah, not yet that we know.
Now.
But like on Facebook, I'm seeing there are some people, and these are people who are I don't like judging or labeling, but I would kind of call alarmists, who are like making lists of things that are made in Canada, and they're trying to, promote these sorts of things, and they're sharing it. Please share this with everybody, that kind of stuff. And I'm just sitting here going, well, you know what? Let's see what happens in a month. Let's see where things are a month from now.
Oh, in a month you're going to be the 51st state, don't you know?
Well, I mean,
Let me ask you a question, Mike.
Part of Mexico.
In all seriousness, have you met any of your countrymen who have said, "Boy, that would be a good idea to be the 51st state"? Among my Canadian, just asking that question gets people to bite my head off and I'm like, I don't think any Canadians want to be Americans.
No, I've never met a person who says I would like Canada. I've met Canadians who have said I would like to have a permanent residency or a green card in the US or that kind of a thing. I've never met a Canadian who said I wish Canada would become part of the US. It's the idea that there's any sort of.
I don't think there's ever been that notion.
I've kidded about it for years with my Canadian friends, going, "Yeah, well, you guys in the 51st state," just as a way of just being kind of rude and comedic. I never considered it.
Yeah.
We take the idea, especially the further out east you go, we take the idea of being, kind of two distinct societies within one society pretty seriously. I don't even imagine what would ever happen with the folks of Quebec. I can't even imagine whatever would happen if something like this were tried.
Well, they get a little violent about stuff like that, don't they?
I don't know about violent. I know not happy. That's for sure. Because at one point, Quebec was talking about going out and becoming a country on their own, and then that referendum failed. But yeah, I mean,
California is talking. Just briefly, some of them are talking about seceding from the Union.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't seem as though the rest of the country cares what happens to California, and California does. And they'd like to just have their own economy and deal with their own problems that they have and not be a part of the United States.
Doesn't California have like the fourth largest economy in the world? Just California as a state?
Yes, I believe.
Yeah, crazy.
And then he's coming in here and turning on our water spigots or whatever, and
flooding Northern California.
yeah,
is there more water now?
Well, yeah, it's being wasted. It's
all out.
Yeah, I mean, this is water that we have to save in reservoirs for use in the summertime, and he's draining it into the Central Valley.
That's his spigot.
Yeah.
I heard it started raining. That's what he was taking credit for.
Yeah.
No. The Army Corps of Engineers were working on these valves in Northern California, and they finished the job. So I guess the Army turned on the valves.
Yeah, but they were going to anyways.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, when I lived in California, which was most of my life, we had always resented Southern California because they were using up a lot of our water and our resources and so on.
Yep.
And we at one time, Northern California was thinking about seceding from the state and becoming the state of Northern California.
Jefferson, state of Jefferson.
The state of Jefferson?
Yeah.
Not in California.
Yeah, Northern California, there was talk at one time about becoming the 51st state of Jefferson.
I remember that too, Bernard.
Me too.
Do you remember it, Len? You're from
just a little bit. Yeah,
that was like the 1940s,
talking about secession.
What year would that have been?
My recollection is the secession thing was in the 70s, maybe 80s, 70s.
Proposed specific state of Jefferson, Northern California. When was this? 1941.
Yeah.
1941.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, well, later on, when I was, living there as an adult, they were talking about it.
Yeah.
But have you seen this new MAGA map that includes Canada and Greenland all as one big connection?
Well, here's the thing, and I'm not
ridiculous.
Please don't take this the wrong way, Mr. Chisholm, but
I won't.
Let's be honest. If you get all of Canada and you get all of Greenland, which is going to be larger than all of the United States, what do you get? Mostly
Oil.
No, wait a minute. Mostly nothing.
Resources.
Because you go above the bottom half of Canada and it's a pretty sparse population. And then you go up into an area where nobody wants to live. Am I right, Mike?
Yeah, the vast majority of our population is near the 49th parallel. It's within a certain amount of kilometers from the 49th parallel. You've got some like Edmonton and a few other kind of notable exceptions, but it's the natural resources. They say other than Russia, I believe we're the most natural resource.
Yeah.
One of those
places.
How many people live in Greenland?
50,000.
57,000. Okay, so why do you want both of those? You're getting a whole
all of the rare earth minerals.
Metals.
There's a ton of very valuable resources underneath the crust up there. It's like in Canada, north of Mike. If you go way the hell north, you get to Yellowknife, largest diamond mine in the Americas. You go up to how do you say it? Nunavut.
Nunavut. Yep.
Nunavut. Nunavut is
nothing
way,
there,
way
right?
north.
Yeah.
What is it? The mines up there.
They have all sorts of mines up there, but including like lots of exploratory stuff. And never mind, there's a contingent in the States that want to drill up in Alaska. Well, our northern area is the same kind of thing.
So it's not about the people. It's about stealing the resources.
Be a great place to be a hooker, I guess. Yeah. I mean, God, can you imagine why? I guess they must get paid a lot of money to work there, but why would you want to be a miner up there?
The whole society up in Nunavut. It's a indigenous society. It's not even they're not even provinces, they're territories, but they're part of Canada.
That's right. The Yukon is not a province. The Yukon is a territory. So I've got a lot of clients who work up north. It's like I live in a very desirable place, but there's not a lot of big time money jobs here. So there's a lot of folks who work what we call up north. Folks who work up north, they work 2 to 3 weeks up in the oil fields or on the pipeline, in one of the mines up there. They'll work 2 or 3 weeks and then they'll come back for a week. And that is like, I've got probably, I don't know, 2-3 dozen clients who are exactly in that situation.
Yeah.
Northern Alberta, the Yukon, Northern Ontario, there's lots of resources there. And I can certainly see how folks would want to figure out a way to get them cheaper or get them themselves. I can certainly see that.
But I imagine Canadians are a little incensed by all of this that's going on because as I said earlier before you called, Canadians are very proud about their country.
Yes.
Very protective of it.
Yes.
You know?
I very much enjoy the inferiority complex that I seem to have been born with the big brother from the South. I like that role. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, Canada is extremely, we're distinct.
You know, it's funny, what I don't get, and again, we're going to have to go back to Trump here, is where he got the idea about Greenland and Canada in the first place. It doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense. We can't even take care of what we've got.
Well,
Yeah.
Greenland came up because of the strategic location.
Yes.
With the Arctic Ocean melting, he feels like the Russians are going to take advantage of that, and we need to have more military bases up there to counteract the Russians.
Well, I'm sure if we asked, we could put in more military bases.
If we had asked, they would have said yes.
Yeah.
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 They were open to it. We already have military bases there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's I want to go out as the guy who expanded the US. It's an empire.
But you're
I'm a tough
expanding
guy.
it. You're expanding it by almost nothing.
Well, by people, but by land mass and by resources.
Even more than double the size of it.
If you didn't give a shit about people,
then why don't you
Alex,
annex someplace in Africa where they've got diamonds? I mean, you can't just go around taking over country. What?
I believe the French already did that.
The French already did that.
This joke.
Yeah.
He's been talking to the people of South Africa.
Yeah.
So maybe they want to annex South Africa with all its diamond mines.
Yeah. Well, I don't get it. It makes sense to me. But then again, what do I know?
I just think he's building his legacy. He's looking back and saying, well, they're still talking about Hitler 80 years later. I
got news for you. He's building a legacy.
Well, I know.
And I won't live long enough to see how he's remembered. None of you probably will either, to see how in say another 50 years they're going to look back at this.
Yeah.
They're going to look back at this as the beginning of the new Reich, or they're going to look back at this as a very horrible time for this country with a president who was just, literally out of his mind. Who do we just lose this time?
Andrew.
What's interesting is there was a video on YouTube where Carl Sagan predicted the predicament that we are in right now because of the lack of education, people not understanding science, and then you become subject to this kind of people, the kind of people like Trump and their acolytes. You become victim to them because you're stupid.
I love Carl Sagan. I have 2 of his books sitting right next to me here. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, he was right, obviously, because the people that we have around today are all really. There's Andrew again.
Sorry, I was talking to Elon Musk. He cut off my internet for a minute. Screw you.
You didn't pay your tariff on your.
No, but the fact
Starlink fees.
The Sagan was right, because what we have is a whole nation being run by people who have no sense of science at all. I mean, do you think those congressmen and senators really know what they're talking about when they rail against AI? They don't know what they're talking about.
No.
I mean, we're very unscientific. What, Charlie?
So they don't even understand the internet.
Yeah.
They just know it's there.
Isn't it a
Yeah,
series of tubes?
Well, I'll tell you, at the very beginning, I had to ask somebody in an interview because I was using the internet and it was there to use. This was in the early days where really we shouldn't be using the internet because it was invented to take care of universities and colleges and hospitals and things like that. Am I right, Charlie? That's what it was. It was ARPANET.
Yeah.
It's our, but,
Yeah. And but I was using it. And so I wanted to know where is the internet? You know, they say you go on, you got a link onto the internet, and then you go to the internet, you go down the internet, you fly around the internet, you get a lot of different things in the internet. But where is it? You know, it has to be someplace.
It's not in a
Decentralized.
place. It's not in a place. It's a series of linked up computers. That's
yeah,
it.
it's every place.
Typically, that's
All
it.
around the
But,
country.
but I also had a question about how does it get transmitted? In other words, is it doing it by cable? Is it doing it
Most
by
of it's fiber optic now.
it's
Yeah.
fiber optic? Is it? But is it like I hate it when they use the term the cloud because that implies it goes up to this little place up right above.
Magic land.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was just floating above you, and that's where you keep all your information. And so I hate that term, but in a way, I asked the person, was there any kind of like, I think we do it by satellites now too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
Starlink is satellite internet.
yeah, but that's a place to link onto that. It's not a place that is the internet. Okay,
The part of it now.
are they running the internet on Starlink?
In some places, yeah. That's why that's how Ukraine was.
Use the internet, but you also use Starlink to connect yourself to the internet and to, other people in your email and so on and so forth.
Are
So,
you asking a question about servers? Like there are servers at different places throughout. That's part of what you're asking, right?
Throughout the world.
well, I asked how it works, and the explanation I got was almost like they didn't know either. It did exist. In fact, they had a place out in California which was a node for the internet called May West. Yeah.
That's
So
funny.
I never got a straight answer on that, but I just assume I'm using the internet and it works, And there are a lot of people who would have servers now dealing with the internet that didn't have it before. So anyway, can you explain what the internet is, Charlie? How it exists?
Andrew just said, there's a bunch, and I guess was it Microsoft? There's a bunch of servers around the world that are all hooked up and they're communicating with each other. And what you do when you sign on to the internet is you sign on to connect the information that on those servers.
Yeah, remember when you worked at Sirius, there were computers in all of the studios that they all fed off of each other. At one time, there was a central computer in a network that all the computers would link to. And over time, they figured out how to make it.
Yeah.
Well, what they've done over time is you don't need that central server. Each computer talks to each other as nodes. So the internet is basically all of our computers talking to each other with no server.
But in the beginning, it was just very hard to get much time on because everybody.
And then there are servers that are part of it where things are stored for bigger, higher speed applications, but basically bigger computers that are nodes within that same thing that all.
I can tell by the look on people's faces. There's some people here that just don't care what we're talking about. So.
No, that's
Hey,
not
Len,
true.
wake up.
I'm
Wake up, Len.
concentrating
Sorry.
very hard.
What did you say, Paula?
I said it's not true. I'm concentrating very hard. It's holding the concepts in your head about what it is. It's not an easy thing. I mean, like I understand that it was that once upon a time it was like two things, like off and on, and that's not true anymore. It's much more complex, and fitting it all together is not an easy thing.
One thing I never was able to grasp around was when I first got a high-speed cable, right? and it was always on. You were always, now all of you always attached to the internet.
Yeah.
At any given moment, you want to go use the internet, it's there. So I didn't understand that, because before I used to have to like sign on to my computer and then sign on to some internet
CompuServe.
on-ramp like CompuServe. And then I did it. And now it was always attached. And
I have a question.
Yeah.
My question is for the people here that know what they're talking about pretty much.
Not me.
Do we have any of those?
What would you suggest for people to read to be able to grasp and understand what we're talking about?
okay, let me just say this. You don't have to. It's just there. It's like
Don't tell me I don't have
before
to.
all of this, when there was a light bulb, you knew how to turn the light bulb on and off. You didn't know exactly how the electricity got to your house, and it didn't really matter. You just wanted to be able to use the
No, that was easier to understand. Like it was easier to understand the telephone. I could see that outside there was I understood about telephone towers. I understood, but this is hard to keep in my head. So would somebody please refer us people who want to like have something to read over and over again until we understand it?
You know what,
What would
Paul?
you
I
suggest?
don't know.
what I'm trying to say is you don't need to. All you need to know is how to do it. You know, and
She
you need
wants to understand. She wants to understand. I'm
She
trying
wants to understand the structure
want
of
to
it.
understand
Yes.
what are some good simple books, Charlie? Do you know any?
I don't know. I studied all this in college 20 or 30 years ago and gradually acquired the knowledge. I don't ever remember a specific book about, unless you want to go back.
By
to
the way, he is the only one here who is a rocket scientist. No, for real.
Astrophysicist.
What are you? What physicist?
Astrophysicist. I wasn't really a rocket scientist.
Well,
I didn't launch anything.
yeah.
Well, like Carl
Don't they
Sagan.
have a book? Don't they have a book that's called Internet for Dummies?
Sure they do.
Exactly. And Carl
I'm sure
Sagan had the talent to be able to translate difficult science into words that we could grasp. That's
There
what
are
made
people,
such
there
a
are people
genius.
that do that very well. Yes, Brian. Hello, Brian.
Hi, Paula, can I blow your mind? So my company, what we do is we take DNA strands and we split them and we try to glue them back together millions of times in one drop.
I get that. I actually get that.
And by the way, Internet for Dummies is a book. I'll show you how to navigate the internet. It won't explain how it works. I'm unaware of any book that can explain just the way that Charlie just described it. What I know about it is from talking to smart people and having them explain it in ways for me to understand.
But the question is, and again, I'm saying this to Paul as well, do you really, Andrew, have to know how it works, or do you only have to know how to use it?
But there's a difference between have to and want to.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
You don't have to, I don't have to know how things work, but I'm so damn curious about everything that I want to have a base understanding. I feel more comfortable if I have, some semblance of understanding about something that I'm using and working with.
Mm-hmm.
And usually by doing that, I end up being better at it.
Mike?
I don't know if anybody, this might be a weird angle to answer that question, but I don't know if anybody here has anybody in their life who is a Freemason. I have a buddy of mine who is like a third generation Freemason. And when I ask him about, I want to know about secret meetings and all these things and all that, he's like, no, it's not about that. He goes, it's about keeping and understanding how the world works right now, because at some point the grid's going to go down, the world's going to reinvent itself, and we need to know these engineering techniques, we need to know these technological advancements that we made and how to get them back. And they have all the books on that stuff. They keep all they value themselves as guardians of information because of exactly what you just said, Alex, which is like the world just naturally assumes the light bulb's going to turn on when we flip the switch. But most of us now don't remember how. Like plumbing, same thing. Like just different different things en masse that we take for
Well,
granted.
I don't think we knew more about plumbing in 1920 than we do now.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, I know the water comes from somewhere. It's like because I see them working on the pipes underground, but I turn on the faucet, there's the water. Well, in our case, there's a drip. But
I don't know where you're getting a Freemason. Mine charges.
You beat me to that. I was going to say that at the time. I was going to say mine always charges me, so I'd like to know where to get a Freemason too.
But Alex, in plumbing, if you saw the way that I just did the plumbing on my house that I just renoed, it's a completely different plumbing system than 20 years ago, with PEX and a central manifold instead of branches. It's been completely reinvented.
Never mind aqueducts and things like that in the Roman Empire. Like it goes back to like all of these very, very, very basic technology things. Because you're exactly right, Alex. We don't remember. Like, what do we do if the grid goes down?
Yeah,
I have no idea.
As a matter of fact, I think we're only away from some precocious 13-year-old turning off all the lights in America.
Yeah.
Name Sheldon.
I mean, they're starting to say the next war. We're always talking. When's the next world war? The next world war is being fought now
in
cyberspace. Yeah. That all the hacking they do and all of that.
AI race between the U.S. and China.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, one thing's for sure: if stuff falls apart, all these idiot kids that keep going, "Okay, boomer, you don't know what you're talking about," they're going to be looking for us because we still know how to do stuff.
Yeah, Microsoft sent me a thing yesterday saying that people have been trying to get onto my Microsoft account, and they went and put me onto a page where all the attempts were, and all of them failed because they didn't have the right password. Okay, but it was China, it was Turkey, it was people were trying to hack me from everywhere in the world.
I'm sorry I did that to you, Alex. I apologize.
Yeah, that's okay. Now I have to change my password, okay? Because Microsoft is forcing me to change my password. And I don't even know which password for Microsoft I'm changing.
And be careful that it's actually Microsoft doing that. So anybody can provide you with a list. That sounds like a scam to me.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No.
Okay, just be careful.
Because I went to Microsoft and they said, please change your password. It's been, they've been attempting to go onto your site too many times, and you just need to change it.
Is it because it's misaligned with the chip you got with your vaccine?
No, it has to do with the worms in my head.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
My brain worms, yeah.
That makes sense.
Do you realize that with JFK, the brain worms not only were in his brain, but they died there?
RFK Jr.
RFK Jr., well, yeah.
Lack of sustenance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing left to eat.
Lack of sustenance, yeah. No, but we live in a time where people just, you go online and you don't think about what you're doing. I don't anymore think about the fact that I got Charlie in Texas and I got Brian in California and I got Marjorie in the next room. All these people, Kentucky with
Chisholm in the 51st state.
Chisholm in the 51st state, right? In Canada, and you all look like you could be next door. Your video looks as good as mine does, most of it.
And at night, when Bree is on there, he sounds just like he's next door too.
And he's in Malaysia.
Yeah.
So
why would people assume there'd only be one state? Canada's huge. Why wouldn't it be like 10 or 12 states?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard, Charlie. He's not very bright.
Well, you do have in Canada, they don't call them states, they call them territories, right?
Provinces.
And territories.
How many provinces are there?
10 provinces, 3 territories.
Oh, okay. What's the difference between a province and a territory?
Population, really, for the northern parts that Andrew was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So like the population centers are the ones that are provinces. The territories are the further north areas that are just vast amounts of land. And basically you just have, for the most part, indigenous and government folk, and then some folks of industry. So like if there's a mine or if there's a pipeline or an oil patch.
I thought it had to do with provinces being self-governed and territories are governed by the capital.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, so the provinces are getting together and talking about if we didn't have trade rules within the provinces, because now there's talk about how we're going to deal with the U.S. tariffs, and if we can unite and then tariff the things that we export to the U.S. as well, and things like that. Like, so people are talking about that, but the territories would never get involved in that.
The interesting part about it is the tariffs are only going to affect us here in the United States.
The consumer.
No.
The end product pays the price, right? You know,
The consumer.
well, I mean, a tariff is, they say we're going to do a tariff on China, but really the tariff is on goods coming into China, taxing the people who are bringing the goods in.
Correct.
You know,
but the tariff affects everyone.
We're not really taxing China. They'll just go somewhere else to do business. They'll say to hell with the United States. You don't want your iPhones and you don't want all your electronic gizmos. Well, okay, we'll just turn off that spigot and we'll send them all to India. Hey, we got a lot of people in India. Be happy to take this stuff. You know,
this is my worry. And again, I think if I've proven anything in the 4 or 5 years I've been on this show is that I'm ignorant. So don't take what I'm saying for anything. But my whole thing is, okay, we're a $1 trillion+ trade partner with the U.S. We have more resources than almost anybody. If the U.S. sours the milk about where we go send our resources, do we really want to start sending our resources to China? I personally, that makes me uneasy. I like the relationship that our countries have. But again, what do I know? I'm just
I mean, they benefit.
And Alex,
they benefit.
This is my area of business expertise. I've worked in global trade most of my career.
Mm-hmm.
The problem that people don't recognize is it affects everyone because other countries retaliate. So the last time Trump pulled this tariff nonsense with China, we had, I think it was $300 billion of crops that we couldn't export that rotted, that we had to bail out the farmers.
Yeah,
because the foreign country said, if you're going to tariff our stuff coming in, we're not buying from you.
Yeah.
In Canada right now, there's a guy, Angus, Charlie Angus, I think is his name, who's a minister who's saying, we're going to shut down the American automotive industry because we're not going to buy the parts that you send to our plants to produce. And the U.S. manufacturers are requiring parts from Canada and from Mexico to build cars here. Yep. So if the supply chain is shut off, all of our auto workers are going to be furloughed because there's no way to make cars without parts.
Where does Musk get his parts? Wait a minute. Where does Musk get his parts? Same way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. His parts come from all over the place.
Yeah.
His plants are gonna suffer just like everybody else's. But he's got enough money to sit around and wait for it to come back. When you've got that much money, what was that?
I don't think he's got as much money as he once had. What? My phone is ringing. What is this? It's up here. It's on my.
It's ringing in here, so don't worry about it.
Well,
it's me. I'm going to be late. It's me. I'm going to be late for dinner.
Oh, okay.
But it's the retaliation and the cascading effect of it. If you're in the printing industry, you buy material to print on. If you make those materials come from somewhere.
Yeah.
So your raw material cost is maybe 30 or 40% of what you produce. So you're not going to raise your prices by the 25%, but if 25% on the materials that you're bringing, now you have to increase your prices. So depending on how much of imported content.
Let's ask John Ewing. He hasn't said anything for the whole show, so I'm going to drag him into this thing, kicking and screaming.
I knew you were going to do that. One of the reasons I like coming here is because you people really inform me about things I don't know. And that's my enjoyment about coming on. I wish I had more to offer, but I really appreciate all the information you provide to me.
Yeah. Well, it's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt Vernon.
Well, I was just going to say, maybe I should start my own black market for bourbon for all those Canadians who love that bourbon. Yeah, I'll set up a FedEx distribution point here in my house.
How does FedEx work?
How does FedEx?
Sour mash. Let's do
it. We've had a couple of deliveries lately, and I got to tell you, FedEx isn't working.
Yeah.
So
really?
Oh, they do this new thing.
Or is UPS? UPS also.
UPS also. Well, we couldn't catch you while you were home. Listen, we're home all the time. Okay.
Right.
What do you mean you couldn't catch us? Why? It's too bad. Too bad. We're sorry you weren't there. What do you mean we weren't here? You were too lazy to ring the fucking doorbell, you moron.
The
And then
problem,
so we sent all your stuff to this pickup place.
Oh, geez.
Now, now one of the pickup places is only a half a block away. But
Nice.
we went in there the other day and Marjorie showed them the thing and she went looking for it and was going through these piles and piles of boxes they had in the back of the store in no particular order. And finally, after about 10 minutes, we just left, to screw it. Let Amazon eat it,
the
right?
problem with FedEx deliveries is that those are all subcontracted employees.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
And the UPS stores are franchises. They're not owned by UPS.
Well, the UPS store, I happen to like the UPS store because when I need to get a notarized document, I just go to the store. Although on several occasions I've gone down there and I said, I want to have this notarized. And they say, the guy's out to lunch.
Right.
I said, but it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
After dinner.
But it does have a lot of things that I can use like that. Okay. This thing about having us go pick it up because they're too lazy to deliver it is just driving us nuts lately. Yes, Jeff?
You're going to have to move because I have no problem.
Well,
Everything.
you got one house and they'll leave it on your doorstep.
Yep.
This is an apartment house
Okay.
and they can't even figure out what bell to ring.
I know, but we also have an entrance place down in the basement that your mail comes in there,
Mhm.
and any kind of stuff in it that is mailed
Mhm.
containers.
Mhm.
Okay, a lot of things are brought in through mail. A lot of other stuff comes from big truck comes in and the guy delivers everything to your
Right.
house,
Well,
wherever
we
the
have,
hell
we
it
have
is.
we have a doorman, or not a doorman. What's it called? A presence, Marjorie?
I've never seen them, but there is a presence.
Yeah. And they are not there
Presence.
till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They're there till like midnight. Okay. Because our landlord is too cheap to turn that entire office into a main point where they can bring all the packages. And then we go down there and say, I got some
Pick
packages.
them up.
Yeah. Pick them up.
You know what?
How did
Yeah.
In this
How
era
does
of
FedEx-
Elon, oops, sorry.
that's all right, go ahead.
I was saying, in the era of Elon Musk, nobody wants to see a brown shirt show up at their place. So
Right, exactly. What were we going to say?
How does FedEx get in through your gate? Because getting in through your gate was the hardest part. I
Oh,
don't understand.
they ring the doorbell.
And who answers it? You?
Yeah.
Oh, I did that. You didn't answer me. I guess you didn't want me to come in. I had to call you, I think.
Well, you can do that too, but there you could. I think you probably didn't push the right button. You didn't find our button. But because there are a lot of buttons there. There are like 200 apartments in this building, something
A
like
lot.
Is it really?
A lot.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
I think one other thing with the tariffs is that it's going to affect food, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It will.
So you'll be very surprised in how much international food is fruits and vegetables right now. When it's not in season here, you're getting watermelon from Ecuador or bananas from somewhere, and all that's going to go up in price. Now you have one banana going up from, it's like 99 cents a pound or whatever, maybe to $2 a pound. And now you have all these U.S. ones coming in. Do you really think the U.S. are going to keep that 99 cents, or are they going to take the opportunity and be greedy and say, "Wow, they're paying $2 now. We're going to juice that up to $2 also."
Guess who ships the most avocados to the United States?
Mexico.
Of course, they made it. Mexico made a deal where for a month they're not going to,
Yeah, because Trump's the chicken shit. He always says this stuff, and he backs down or just halfway. They're gonna pay for the wall and all this other crap.
and then declares victory because he gets a tiny concession, and
It's
Well,
terrific. I
he
took
learned
care of
that
it.
from his old teacher, that you never admit you're wrong, and you always say the other side did something.
Well,
Yeah.
just look at
Sounds
what he
like
said
Mike's
about
girlfriend.
coffee. Instead of buying coffee from Colombia, we're going to grow our beans here. No,
Right.
you can't. We don't have the climate.
Well, I think we just need to tell them that the guy who sends us the avocados is named Jesus, and then they'll all want them again.
Well, listen, we can't even grow our own cocaine here. Okay.
Yeah, right.
They have the San Jose flea market, and this guy was live streaming from there, saying it was empty because so many people are worried that ICE is going to show up there.
Yep.
But it's a private property, so ICE cannot show up there without permission from the owners. So
They'll get them leaving.
yeah,
There was a lady that said she wasn't going to go to church in San Jose because they're going to show up there.
Listen,
Yeah.
I mean, who knows how many they're going to do, and a lot of people are not going to have their housekeepers. Who's their housekeepers? I mean, we have a woman here who cleans our place. She's from Mexico, right, Marjorie?
Yes.
We don't know whether she has citizenship or green card or whatever, but maybe she never got one.
We've never asked.
And we've never asked,
Right.
because she's
What are
great.
hard Canadian hockey players that play for your teams down there? You're not sending them out, are you?
Oh,
I would.
Right.
Support
Damn
them all.
Canucks.
what about all the baseball players?
Yeah.
Well, they
Yeah.
come from South America.
Exactly.
The Dominican. They're a
Puerto
bunch of
Rico and
Dominicans.
Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
Dominican Republic and Cuba and stuff.
And we'll
like
have
that.
nobody to win the race here in New York every year because they all come from Kenya.
Yeah.
Didn't
Going back to
didn't
what I said,
Melania
just tell
have
them.
problem?
Tell them you guys are kicking Jesus out of our lives. What's wrong with you? They've deported their religion.
Yeah. And now we can't celebrate certain holidays because the president has determined that Martin
Yeah, I
Luther
saw
King's
that.
birthday should not be a holoday.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
geez,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
no Black History
No
Month.
Black History Month.
Black
No Holocaust celebration.
Yeah.
Charlie, what are your people voting for this guy for? Oh my God.
I didn't vote for
You're blaming Charlie.
Well, this is the
That's
Defense
nice.
Department. I think in the Defense Department, they won't celebrate Kwanzaa. They
Yeah.
won't celebrate. And they hit the
They
black
tried.
people. They hit the black people horribly. They only got the gay people once. I think a Gay History Month is.
and no pronouns.
If they mess with
Yeah.
Festivus, I draw the line.
That's right.
With what?
Festivus.
Festivus, yeah.
We need to have airing of the grievances, Andrew.
What do you think this is?
What about Mardi Gras? Are we not allowed to go to Mardi Gras anymore?
Oh, geez.
No, but now it's too ethnic. It's Martin Gras.
Next Festivus, I should do a special show at 4:00 where you can all
Let's-
air your grievances.
Let's do that.
Hmm.
Let's
can't let that go
totally
by.
do
That's the Monday show now. The Monday show is the
Yeah.
airing of the grievances. Not the pop-up anymore.
It's
Oh,
the-
that's so funny.
Excuse me, welcome to the Festivus channel. You know what I was
Every-
thinking about doing? How many of you would vote for this? My name isn't really Alex Bennett. I don't know if you're shocked by that.
I know.
But it's really Bennett Schwartz.
Bennett Schwartz.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Marjorie looks
I never
shocked.
knew that.
You never knew that. Oh, I see. Okay, because
We've
your
been
name,
duped.
officially, your name is Marjorie Schwarzman. You know.
Is that what's on
Anyway.
the marriage license?
Anyway, I was thinking about towards the end of my life of getting rid of Alex Bennett and going back to Bennett Schwarzman and
Oh.
Why not?
using it on all the openings with this, with
Why not?
graphics.
Well, what's
Why
in a
not?
name? You would still
Well-
smell sweet.
What?
Jethro Tull was a band since the 60s, and Ian Anderson decided it wasn't fair because Jethro Tull was an inventor of the seed drill where he got the name from, released 4 solo albums as Ian Anderson, couldn't sell shit, went back to Jethro Tull and other song records again. So
Yeah, right. Well, anyway.
At this point, why not?
And by the way, this Thursday night, if you want to hear an interview with our good friend Mike Chisholm and I,
Oh.
I'm playing off the second one, and then I got to call you and do some more.
Can't wait. Love being on the Ramble.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah,
Yeah, I love
Very
chatting.
nice.
yeah. But we got to get going here because
It's late.
we're over.
It's getting late. I'm over. It's 5 minutes over.
Yes, you are.
What's for dinner?
4-minute tariff.
Okay, yeah. What is for dinner?
Surprise.
It's a surprise.
It's
Yeah.
Mac and what is it? Feed.
Leftover.
I'm not saying anything.
It's fettuccine. Fettuccine Alfredo with the chicken and the thing with the stuff.
Good night, everyone.
Yeah,
Boiled hot dogs on stale buns.
Yeah. Goodbye to Jeff and goodbye to Charlie. And you hardly have said anything today, Francine.
It's okay.
But it's good to have
Okay,
you.
I'm enjoying it. I'm just enjoying it.
Great having you here. Vernon, great having you here. Always a pleasure to have John Ewing and Len LaFrisco. He's always the first one waiting online, like a half hour before.
I need to get a life.
No life.
So do I. Marjorie, thank you so much for joining us today from the other room. Okay.
It's Miller time.
Yeah, it's Miller
Yes,
time.
it is.
Those are all cartoons she bought, by the way.
Nice pussy, Brian.
On Shark Tank. We'll get to Brian and his pussy in a second. Pamela Levin. Thank you, Paula. When are you coming to see us again?
As soon as possible.
Please do. Mike Chisholm, you're welcome down here anytime. You know.
We might be going to visit Steve and Lori. If we are, we'll make sure we come see you.
Yeah. I'm supposed to go have dinner with them in a couple of days. Let's see. Charlene Solis, thank you so much. We're so happy for you and having lost 160 pounds. My God.
Me too.
Yeah. And then Andrew Deutsch, and finally, Brian Neary's pussy. That cat does not look happy right now.
No, it doesn't.
And finally, we sign off with a lovely and attractive Edward Berger, who says,
"That's all, folks."
Okay, bye-bye, everybody.
Hold on, Don Giller signing in.
Thank you, Alex.
Okay, see you
Bye, guys.
next week.